What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim back with another video, here to give you guys my early impressions of Borderlands 3. Finally picked this game up. I've been wanting to get it for a while. Finally got some free time. The 25% off sale at Target definitely helped out me to get it sooner, but it's kind of clear that I'm a fan of Borderlands, so it made sense I would eventually dive into Borderlands 3. Now, I was debating getting it for the computer, but because I have my Astro A40s and I really enjoy streaming, I figured it wouldn't be a bad purchase on my PlayStation 4. I'm currently playing it on the Pro, and it looks and runs phenomenally. As with a lot of new generation games, you have the option of going with a higher frame rate or a higher resolution. I chose the frame rate because I want it to look as best as it can with that buttery smooth 60 frames a second. And for the most part, I have to say, in my short time on Pandora so far, everything looks and feels great. Occasionally you get a little bit of hitching, particularly when you have a ranged gun or when you finally get a vehicle. You could tell the game is trying to load assets in as fast as possible, but it's nothing that's going to be a distraction to you. If you're familiar with anything about Borderlands, you will jump right in and absolutely begin enjoying this game. But if you have never played Borderlands, this game does a lot of really cool quality of life improvements, and it also really doesn't lean too much on the old characters that I have at least seen so far. So I don't think you would be completely oblivious to what's going on. There's definitely some fan service early on in the game, but I don't think it's something you absolutely need to know about in order to enjoy this experience. And they've done some cool things, as I mentioned, with the quality of life improvements. The first thing I noticed was mantling. Now, this is huge and really has become a staple of pretty much any first-person shooter. The idea is you run up to a wall and you jump, and your character will climb up and begin to explore new areas. This opens up a lot of verticality in Borderlands, something that was really missing in the previous editions of the game, something that I noticed when I went back and replayed Borderlands 2, when I went back and played the Commander Lilith DLC, which kind of bridges the gap between the end of Borderlands 2 and the beginning of Borderlands 3. But you really start to notice that mantle, and it allows for some really cool exploration. I've already found a lot of treasure caches that I probably wouldn't have seen otherwise, and it gives that game a sense of verticality and exploration that I think was missing in some of the previous installments. And I like that. But if you don't want to do what I do and be very meticulous and check every nook and every cranny and break every skull pile and flip every little treasure cache, you don't have to do that. The game is going to reward you with piles and piles of loot no matter what. You're going to kill an enemy and they're going to explode into a sea of guns and ammo and grenades, and you can just walk forward and shoot, and you will have an absolute blast. But if you're like me and you feel like that completionist, you want to explore every single edge of the map, you will find yourself handsomely rewarded. There's a lot of optional challenges that are hidden in the game, like reassembling parts of Claptrap, finding audio logs for different characters, completing different challenges like get 50 kills with this gun or drive this long over the distance, whatever. Those challenges exist in the game, but you could largely ignore them if you want to and just run and shoot, and you will have fun. And the core gameplay is that shoot and loot, and it works phenomenally. Now, when I got to play this game the first time, it was at Xbox Fan Fest this year, earlier at E3, and I got to spend an extended period of time with the game. Now, back then, I was using the Xbox Elite Controller version 2. Here, I'm just using my DualShock 4. And as much as I love the Elite Controller, I gotta say the DualShock runs and handles phenomenally. I can tell that the guys over at Gearbox have spent a good amount of time in fine-tuning vibration, which is something you don't really hear a lot of reviewers talk about. You just know that the controller vibrates and that's it. But with Borderlands 3 in particular, they have really fine-tuned the vibration. Now, it definitely feels better on the Elite version 2. I'm sure it feels great on the Elite version 1, but it feels awesome on the DualShock 4. So little vibrations, like when you get a revolver and loading each bullet into your gun, you can feel just a slight vibration. When your character spins the barrel, you can feel a nice vibration there. Shooting a shotgun is different than shooting a grenade launcher, or using one of your spells or your abilities to attack, and it just has a really nice polish to it. That's something that I think you're going to miss on a keyboard because, and a mouse, obviously, because you're not going to get that vibration. And I think it does add a really welcome level of immersion to the game, something that I don't really talk about a lot, but I found myself saying, ooh, that feels good, you know? It feels really good when I'm shooting. And, you know, when I upgraded my standard pistol to a shotgun and the controller vibrated really hard, or, you know, when I used an ability and the explosions and you can feel kind of the ripple effect, it's good. They did a really good job with it. And I guess if anything I want to take you guys to take away from this early access, or not early access, early look for me at least, is that they've really thought a lot about attention to detail. Your character a lot more vocal than in the past. I'm playing as Flak, the Beastmaster. Now, Flak is supposed to be a gender neutral, referring to themselves as themselves or Flak, but it's a dude. But it doesn't matter. The reason I say that is because Flak loves to talk. Now, all the characters love to talk, but I'm playing as Flak, so Flak's my guy. So when he kills something, or when he shoots something, or when there's dialogue, he is responding to what he sees going on. And there are a lot of canned lines that I've heard a few different times, but there are some very situational things, and you really feel connected to the world. The silent protagonist thing does not apply to Borderlands. You're going to come across some goofy-ass characters with some very, very bizarre one-liners, and Flak is going to respond just as quickly and probably put a smile on your face. Now, Claptrap plays a big part in the game at the beginning. He's a goofball. I know he's got a new voice actor. I can't tell. The writing is just as good as it was, if not better, from previous Borderlands. So if you like that, constantly making jokes, that bizarre, goofy, you know, tongue-in-cheek, potty humor, you're going to fit right into the world of Borderlands 3 without a problem. The last thing I want to say before I close out this video and move on to other things is that I really like all the challenges. Now, this is something that existed in previous Borderlands, but this game seems to have more in the way of collectibles. And I touched on it earlier when I mentioned that verticality is now a thing with mantling, and I felt a lot more in control of my character. It didn't feel as floaty as it did before. So I'm starting to find each area has something to collect or something to find, which adds a little bit of lore to the level in terms of audio logs or finding parts for Claptrap, and it does reward you with that exploration. I know I touched on that briefly, but it's something that I really want to hammer home in this game, or this review of this game, is that I think they've really kind of taken that core formula and just packed more and more content into it. The map, a lot better to deal with, very easy to tell terrain. You can do, you know, zoom the map up, down, left, right. You can look at different angles. You can toggle very easily from the game what quests you want to take. You could just hit left and right on your D-pad and jump right into different quests without any issue. There's a lot of side quests. There's a lot of ancillary exploration to do. Some quests actually have multiple ways to complete them. So very early on, I had to turn back on a power supply, and I could use one of two different things. And the rewards would have been different if I had gotten something a little better. You could have just kind of done like the cheap route, like, hey, go get that thing and bring it back. Or you could have gone a little bit farther in the game and brought back something different and gotten a different reward, which is a really cool idea. And I'm curious to see as I continue to play through this story how much that actually is impacted in the game. I haven't really seen games do that, like, here's an easy way or a harder way. And I've already seen that on a couple quests. So that is a really cool touch as well. So if you are a fan of Borderlands and you have not yet picked up the game, check out that Target sale. I think it's running through the end of this week where you can get 25% off. It's not a bad price. I saw Amazon and Best Buy are starting to match it as well. So you can get it in the mid $40 range, but it's absolutely worth full asking price. If you love Borderlands, you'll love this game. If you've never played Borderlands, I think you're going to love this game too. I will definitely be doing more live streams in the future. I just wanted to take it easy tonight and kind of get my feet wet. You'll probably see some more cool abilities with Flak later on. Hopefully he'll be a little tougher right now. I only have one ability, but hey, you know what? It's early on in the game. So with that, I'm going to close out this video. I hope you guys found it informative. Leave a comment below. Let me know who your favorite character in Borderlands 3 is. Let me know what skills I should be looking out for. As always, take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.